Good morning, students. Good morning, team. Good morning, sir.
Good
I welcome
morning.
you all to the second session of today's Spectrum, that is the virtual conclave of MIT SDE. So, the second speaker for the day, students, is Samir Kukre, sir. Samir, sir, has 32 years of rich work experience, out of which for 21 years he was working in multinational companies, and he has spent 11 years in large Indian conglomerates. So for the last 10 years, he has been working as a CHRO of large companies. In his consulting stint currently, he is director of Navigate HR Consultants, offering talent search and employee lifecycle related advisory and freelance consultant with growth transformation consulting companies consulting. Samir sir is a regular speaker in various conferences, management schools and industry forums for his domain knowledge as well as views of industry developments. Samir sir is amongst few industry leaders who has a huge network in all spheres of industries due to working in automotive, textile, IT-enabled services, pharma, engineering and biotechnology industry. So we are very happy to have you, sir, for this spectrum and looking forward for your session. Over to you now.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you very much, Ashna and Dr. Bhagyashree Pandey for giving me an opportunity to speak with all this 100 plus. I would not say students because most of the people are working professionals. So it's a beautiful opportunity to talk to various young and seasoned professionals who are currently undergoing a program in MIT. So it's a very good opportunity. Let me assure you one thing, my friends, that it may sound sometimes a dry what we are talking about, but then it is very informative and you're going to enjoy the kind of information and knowledge which we are going to discuss. Because I would not say that I will give the knowledge, but then what is happening around, sometimes we don't have a time to look at what's happening around us, and really we don't give that much of time to really analyze what is impacting my life because of the various things happening around. So I'm going to talk about a couple of things. First is related to where the economy is going, because I don't know how many are from the economics background or who has studied the economics, but economics plays a vital role in a business, and that is something which creates business opportunities as well as the finally job generation or generation of career opportunities come from that. So very importantly, we had to see where our current economy is playing, and then after uh, what kind of changes we are expecting at this point of time, what changes currently we are going undergoing for us is very important to know. So we will talk about the first. I don't know who have studied our earlier situation. Now, for last say from 1992, we are in an open economy, and the open economy means that we are open to all the businesses, all the opportunities which are having actually in the world. We are currently taking opportunities to start the business in. So that is the open economy. I'll not go into more depth of this, but since we are allowed as a nation, as a citizens, we are allowed to go into any arena where we would like to go and start the business, and government is allowing that. Those who have studied history, there was a control Raj or permit Raj used to be there earlier, where any business you'd like to start, you had to first get the permissions from the government, and then only you can start the business. So for example, if that was for example, if you would like to start consumer related gas, regular our LPG, if you would like to distribute, you need to take really a kind of a government approval and permission for that. So that was a permit Raj. Now today, business requires permissions, but then there is no restriction on the which kind of a business. There is no restriction, so we can enter into any business which is currently working and then allowed on all the fronts. So with the open economy concept, I think the kind of things were happening, and I'll just give one example and I'll move forward. That earlier we were not having any permission to have any foreign company or Indian company in a big way to do the manufacturing of cars. So we were having either Hindustan Motors and Maruti, which is Maruti Udyog, which was, but both were industries which were having some kind of a role from the government, and they were only allowed to manufacture the car and then sell it to the people. So we were having a huge waiting list for that kind of a if you would like to go for a car. So obviously there was no other option other than these two. And if you are going to import it from the outside, it used to be 5 times costlier than any of these two cars. Now you can see the market is flooded with automotive. You can take any car in the, which is manufactured in the world, Indian version. So it is manufactured either in India or most of the parts are manufactured in India. So that is the kind of a change has happened. And over the period, we are now very recently, you must have heard Morgan Stanley, which is a very renowned financial institute. They recently did the survey and said that India is the 4th largest economy in the world. So the first 3 are obviously US, China, then Japan. So all 3 and Germany, and then ours is the 4th largest economy. And the kind of a GDP, when other countries are struggling to have a GDP is gross domestic product. So whatever in our economy is producing, how it is manufactured as a total cost or total money involved into that is measured in gross domestic product, and that is something which is going to be 6.7, and many countries are struggling with this. And this GDP decides the growth of the country always. And this is something which is very very positive kind of a movement in our economy. So it's a 4th largest economy in the world. And if it is predicted that in 2013 and 2014 financial year, we are going to be having 16% of the share of world GDP. So whatever the world is going to produce this year, we will have a 16% share of it. I think that is a big significant leap India has taken in last few years. And we have a notable presence not only in Asia but then in the world, and that is taking definitely attention of every country. I don't know how many people are seeing the news currently. Our Prime Minister is in US, and it's a state visit, which is the highest visit protocols for any head of the nation receives from the US, and it's not very common to all the countries. But then US is definitely looking at in India as a future partner, and few highlighting points which they agreed that America and India, that we are going to share one the ship maintenance, because all this US Navy and US kind of a network is in Indian Ocean also, and they require the support in terms of logistics, and that is being agreed that in India the maintenance, food, and whatever the support is required for these ships, and these big ships are huge. So so that is something which would be a requirement, and India is going to support that. A lot of defense related manufacturing is going to happen in India, and technology will be given by US. So obviously, any technology comes into India, that technology helps India to build that particular component or machinery, definitely. But at the same time, it's for the future also. We can be independent in that technology. So far, we have been doing. Few people must have heard the word called reverse engineering. So if you have a phone and you would like to copy it, or you would like to see the technology, yeah, usually this kind of a phone is first stripped, that what kind of components are there, how those are connected, and that is called reverse engineering, and then we manufacture. But now it's very clear that the kind of it beat 6G technology, or the engine for various military planes or fighter jets. If they are giving it to us with the technology, then we'll be able to really produce that for US, and at the same time we can enhance our military capacity also. And I will come to the point of career opportunities in a minute, because all these opportunities which we are talking about, and currently I'm talking about this US tie-up which is happening for last 2 days, create business opportunity, and how it have opportunity. And if you see that, then what I'm going to talk about other areas where the future of Indian economy is going through, you'll able to connect with that. So for example, I'm talking about US India tie-ups are talking about military fighter jets manufacturing, or ship maintenance, food logistics for their ships, then technology in 5G, 5G to 6G, it's happening, and then all other tie-ups in creating the manufacturing base in India, where the US would like us to manufacture in bigger way. And the most important thing, you must have been hearing that chip manufacturing is something which is a bottleneck at this point of time. We don't have enough chips, and there is a huge shortage we have seen in last 1 year, and automotive industry is being hampered because of the chips. And chips currently are those electronic chips, or you can see that any credit card, you can see the chip which is installed into credit card, and that is something which stores the information about you and your card, and that is very important. And that is the very elementary electronic chip. But then the phone requires everything. Rather, in today's world, electronic chip is required everywhere. It is required in trains, it requires in buses, it requires in all the machinery which is having an electronic circuit. So chip plays a very important role in today's life, because of all our connected computers, then screens, TVs, everywhere it is required, and that is something which is in monopoly with China. And then you know what is happening on China. I'll speak in a minute. So all this, when we talk that if these are the, for example, things are coming in India in next few days. So if you see the machinery or the engines required for fighter jet, and it is very recently opened area. We were not allowed as a country to manufacture any defense equipment by private sector for so far. We used to produce it either in the government manufacturing units, Like in Pune, we have a ammunition factory, or some other establishment in Pune who are they are manufacturing military related material. So that is being opened for private sector, and a lot of companies are currently into defense sector. So many, I know so many small scale industries are manufacturing equipment for military. And then if these fighter jets are going to be produced here, then obviously these machine components are required, and any machine are having huge components. So that manufacturing is going to be more in India, because then we are going to produce more in fighter jet. So when the industry comes, obviously there would be somebody saying voice not there. Is everybody listening to me, or the voice is clear? Others? Okay, so I think somebody who is not having a voice, the person might have to find out what's happening with his speaker. Thanks. So when such kind of opportunity comes to us as a country, that we need to manufacture military or ammunition related or fighter jet related manufacturing is going to be requiring, then the industry is going to start manufacturing. That will require raw material. The raw material, then they need finance for that. They need a finance, then they need a manpower, the skill manpower, and then finally they can produce and give it to government of India, or the company which is purchasing from India this fighter jet related material. So obviously this puts the cycle of opportunities come in. So first, understanding that we would like to go into this business, then that business coming into the play, then the manufacturing and related activities, and then going into the career opportunities for everybody, because then they need a skilled people to run the factories and industry. I'll give an example. When in Pune, and Pune was that way, very small that time, 35 years back, when Tata Motors was the biggest industry, and still it is one of the biggest manufacturing hub for Pune. But that time, Tata Motors was having a huge economy for Pune in terms of suppliers, their vendors, and the kind of activity which was going on. So because any industry requires not only people, but then they need a food to be provided, then people require housing, they need markets. So one industry can really change the fortune of any particular town or city. And in past we have seen that industries are built in a particular town or city, and it has really changed the face of the thing. So Tata Motors changed the face. Bajaj Auto or Tata Motors, such kind of a big organizations, really changed the face for Pune to start with, and the ecosystem started getting built around that. So they are creating jobs, they are creating careers at the end of the day. So why in Pune is called Michigan of India? Because then so many automotive companies started working into that in this space. So when Tata Motors started, Tata Motors brought a lot of vendors. They started with vendors. They started with engineering colleges, hiring from engineering colleges. Then there were businesses around that started evolving in Bhosri, in Pimpri, in Chinchwad. So Pimpri Chinchwad got a big kind of a city status in nowadays. But then the whole thing started with that. And then when the vendor base is ready, then other companies who are going to coming to Pune, then that time they decided, okay, the raw material manufacturing is already available in Pune, so why not to start our manufacturing in Pune? So A lot of automotive started coming in after Tata Motors decided and started the operations, and it multiplied. The kind of a industry in Pune got multiplied at the end of the day. So when this kind of a thing happens, the ecosystem for job generations and career opportunities get into the play, and it plays a role in choosing for us that okay, what kind of a career I would like to make. So then you have a choice today, that if somebody would like to go in automotive, they have an ample choice. They have not less than say 100 to 150 uh, different companies in automotive are in Pune. I'm not counting smaller ones, but 100 industries are available. So you have a wide choice where you would like to go. So, and that includes Indian companies and MNCs both. So the link is very clear that the economy brings some kind of awareness that we would need to have this industry in the country. The private sector picks up that particular industry that we would like to manufacture, or even if it is service, we would like to give a service, because the any industry requires a lot of services also. So services. And then finally, when the industry is into the business, then they require the manpower, skilled manpower to run the business. So this is very closely associated. All these stages are very closely associated. And I'll come to that particular example where 35 years back, when Tata Motors had a strike, and literally the it was a grinding halt for Pune economy, because there were almost 100 to 150 vendors in Pune, Pimpri Chinchwad and Bhosri area who were dependent on Tata Motors. And this grinding halt affected those, because those are the small manufacturers, vendors. They were not having the ability to sustain for longer time, and this strike was more than 2 months. So it was very difficult. And you know that if some particular industry is going on, you have a people working there and you don't have a work, so you cannot produce anything, then you can't bill to your customers, and finally you don't have money to pay to your employees. So the grinding halt was affecting many people. And if you see, if Tata Motors that time was having some 12,000 people, so 12,000 average 4 people in the family. Okay, so 10,000 means 4 times people are dependent on that. Then 150 units, even if we take average people dependent on that vendorship, or small companies who are operating in Pimpri Chinchwad and Bhosri area, at least every unit having say 20 people, then 20 into 150 into 4 people in a family. So this is the kind of a base, and they have stopped buying what essentials are. So they are not able to pay the children education, no grocery for day to day on a regular basis, no vegetable, no entertainment. They cannot travel to anywhere. So the economy affects if the wheels of industry are not running. Exactly the similar, but then reverse way. If you see the industry is going big way, then obviously things happen in a very great way. So in last 20 years, we have seen not only the automotive hub getting strengthened, the number of companies are growing in Pune area, but at the same time, we have a IT sector. It's not restricted to Hinjawadi now only. There is in Magarpatta, there are a lot of industries. Then other areas which are spread, because every Pune city has got a business centers, and a lot of IT industry is spread in a city also, because they don't require that big space, even if it is small. Yeah, somebody talked about Eon Kharadi, so that's a big one very recently. And thanks, Raju, for pointing out. I went there very recently in Eon Kharadi, and that is something which I felt that we are not in India. The kind of infrastructure they have, it's a city within city. So that has got an ecosystem. So, and housing. Finally, if you see all these businesses are going to get flourish for flourishing business for the housing also. So why Pune expanded so much? The economy of Pune got better with the industry, and obviously there are multiplex, there are malls, there are a lot of food joints. Then people are talking about various satellite cities, like we are talking about now. If you see Nagar Road, there are so many companies. So the complete we when 30 years back, 40 years back, people used to go to Ahmednagar or Aurangabad. There was a problem because no city was in between. And then now it's growing. People are taking houses in Shirur. People are taking houses in Ahmednagar, or now it is Ahilya Nagar. So it is so important that the ecosystem works, and finally the opportunities get created. So now, if you see, and I'll touch upon that last, maybe last leg way of my discussion, that how those careers opportunities are getting linked more stronger with this kind of a development. So somebody mentioned about there are traffic problems. Somebody commented, and yes, that is also there. That's why we need to have infrastructure. So infrastructure. So today we are talking about flyovers, we are talking about metros, we are talking about strengthening our railway or train network. Then we are talking about work from home. So work from home requires more internet connectivity. Internet connectivity needs to be stronger. There has to be continuous electricity supply. So one problem gives opportunity. When the economy is flourishing, one problem gives the birth for another business. So that becomes a opportunity. And always remember that in current situation, when the economy is growing, any problem can be turned into the opportunity. And that's how, when somebody talked about traffic, now people are talking about more hybrid working where it is possible. In manufacturing, it's not possible, but the service sector saw the opportunity. I tell you, many of the IT industry, where the person is supposed to sit on a table and chair, and then start working on a laptop or a computer, and connect it to somebody and start working. If that is there, then working from home has got a meaning to that. And when we are talking about that, we are reducing not only the traffic on the road, but then so many buildings are not required, but then that is giving a birth to speedy network of internet. Then secondly, you need more laptops, and laptop needs to be very handy, very lightweighted, because then you need to move that with you to office and home, if as when you need to go to office. So when the things are, and but then if the economy is going to be into the problem, economy is not doing well, then all the problem remains a problem, and opportunities are very less, and it's very challenging to find a difficulty. It is in finding out the opportunity. So all these things are very important, because then the base is economy. Today, when we are talking about the era of Make in India, manufacturing is growing. And why manufacturing is important, I tell you. Manufacturing is real goods are manufactured. Those are not those are not based on some assumption or demand and supply related cost. You know that if the commodity in a market is less, the price is more. So if you take a gold, the quantity is limited because that is related to natural resources. So obviously, it's very expensive. I heard a very interesting story because I love traveling and we were in East Europe, and there is a country called Estonia. I don't know how many people know about it, but there is a country called Estonia, which was a part of USSR earlier and now got freedom. Yeah, Balkan, Prabhu, thanks. So Balkan area, because that sea is called Balkan. And while moving around in a city, the guide who was with us, he told that the city of Tallinn, which is the capital of Estonia, that there has got a very typical one fort in between, and there is a city center. In city center, there was actually a house of one merchant, and merchant was having a ship, and he used to go around the world and bring the things. And he said that those 150 years back, this merchant used to go to India, and in Europe that time there was no spices. They were only having salt and sea salt, that's all, as a masala. And for the first time he brought paper. uh, we call it mireche dane. So in Marathi. So paper balls he brought, black paper from India. And you know what the cost of that paper ball? One ball, it was equal to 1 gram of 1 gram of kali miri or black pepper or paper ball. So that was so expensive, and he used to bring it, and then uh, he used to prepare the food with that paper, and then that aroma used to go to nearby places, and he used to invite all rich people for the food in the evening, and he used to earn money out of that. He used to say, okay, I have prepared this food in paper, and you can use this, so you can take it. So 1 gram of gold was exchanged for one kalimiri or a black pepper ball. So that was so the commodity was very scarce, and that's why there was a cost. So obviously, when we are talking about our manufacturing, it becomes very important. And then today, if you see, the same thing is happening, that in petrol. If you see, petrol is also a natural resources. So the demand supply is very important. So demand is more, but then supply is limited. So that becomes so. But when I'm coming to the point that when it is a manufacturing, it has got some base cost. Services doesn't have, because services can be anything. And people who are from IT industry can tell you that people who are working for foreign countries or foreign MNCs, we are charging anything between say $20 to $30 per hour if we are getting outsourcing of the work. But then that can go down if the demand is less, then it can come down also, because it has got a infrastructure cost to certain extent, but then otherwise it's a skill cost. But the skill goes, if the demand goes down, obviously you are not going to face the similar kind of a price in the market. So that makes important that we need to have a manufacturing in the country. And today the manufacturing hub is China, and because of China ambitious policies to acquire different countries under their hold, it is going to be a very negative thing in the world, and it's already happening. People are afraid of Chinese ambition and the kind of a hunger they have to compare themselves with big bees, because they are just challenging the US, and US is not going to like it. So that's why very recently, as I said, in last 2 days, the thing happened that chips are going to be manufactured in India, because they would like to see, definitely we have a capability to manufacture, but at the same time that they would like to give a kind of a challenge to China, that we can, because we don't have a problem of manpower, we don't have a problem of skill, we don't have a problem of language. We are English speaking people, so and English is the global language. So that is the very important aspects. And then the fourth is geographical, that we have so much of a coastal area and the ports are there, so we can send our goods anywhere in the world. China, if you see, it's more or less landlocked. Russia, the similar way. Uh, but then in India, very similar to US or other some of the European countries, that we can and obviously the seaway is very cheaper than any other way of sending on a surface or air. Water is something which is, waterways are something very cheaper. So that has got a huge advantage for us. So people would like us to manufacture and supply to others. And I tell you, I'll for last 1 month I'm in UK, and I was very curious to go around and see how the market is. So currently, if you ask me, we are above UK economy at this point of time, because we are manufacturing. When I went to mall, all the uh, clothes, so ready-made clothes or garments, okay, all are either manufacturing India or Bangladesh. Uh, some part of that is in Pakistan. I saw very less, but then Pakistan is there, and then Vietnam. So, so such kind of a thing in UK, I can see everything is coming up from outside. They manufacture only poultry. They have IT industry. They have tourism, and they have some kind of a services in IT related services. So basically banking and other things. So fintech. So so then that's why it is important that if we need to really do the our economy strong, the manufacturing and other things are very important. That's why currently UK is undergoing huge economic stress because of the Ukraine and Russia war, because the pricing for, they are dependent on energy. So gas prices are extremely high currently, and that is making the economy really shaking. So that is happening. So all this geopolitical situations, how we are placed in a world, that makes huge impact on our economy, plays a role in making our country better. And obviously that gives a prosperity to our businesses, and prosperity of the businesses bring more employment in the country. And obviously when there is a diverse kind of an industry, we have a diverse skill set required. So today if you see, there is a plethora of careers available, and I'll come into that very soon. We have 140 crores plus population. Not only we are having working hands, but at the same time we have a huge uh, uh, advantage in terms of consumption. So the world is looking at us as big market, and I think we are playing currently to our advantage, our population. So we can say that if you want to enter, you need to really give us something, and then only you enter. Very recently, I heard a example that iPhone was trying to come into India because they wanted to come into India few years back, and then they were saying that if you want to really start business in India, you need to manufacture iPhones also here. And now, after they decided that okay, we will have a manufacturing in India, they were given a full permission to enter into India as a business. So now iPhones are going to get manufactured in India also, apart from China and Taiwan. So that makes the things easier. And somebody, okay, Rishi is talking about Tesla, because it has been told that if you want to sell Tesla vehicle in India, you need to manufacture that. What's the advantage of that? That we are going to have a business. It is going to create the infrastructure, and a lot of jobs are getting open, and that too are technology jobs. So people who are passing out from universities, people who are passing out from different education institutes, they are going to have the job opportunities in such kind of organizations, because they want people. And since it's a new technology for us, there might not be people available. So a lot of youngsters who are starting the career, they can work there as apprentices and trainees, and they can start the career, and that would be the start of a new skill getting developed in India. At the same time, people who are nearby skills, so people who, so for example, if somebody is in electronics, they are very good, prone to learn new skills in IT, because it's a nearby field. So upskilling happens very fast when such kind of a new opportunities come into the play, and then you can learn new things. So people who can write maybe IT programs in a particular language, it's not difficult for them to learn a new language which is coming, or new platform which is getting introduced in the market. So the big consumption, big skill set, wide range of the things available on the disposal, and people blame about it. But then the country like India has got a, so if you have an industry, what happens? Somebody was talking about Nagar area. So Nagar, Kalyani Nagar and onwards, if you see, there are buildings coming up. There is a congestion of roads. There are huge number of restaurants. So whole economy gets developed. How to develop that? There could be debates that how we need to really shape up our economy in that area, how to build buildings, how to really plan the whole thing. And there are ways to manage. And then that is something which, but then that is something which is need. So you need to do something about it, and then only the things happen. And then that is something which is important for us to know, that how the things getting developed in various areas. Somebody talked about solar energy, and I'm going to come in a minute, that when we are having a problem with because our imports are in petrol and crude oil, and that is the biggest expense for India, and that reduces or imbalances our balance of payment. What is balance of payment? Who has studied economics, they can say that whatever we are getting import and export. So for exports, we earn money, and for imports, we lose money. So when the export money or the money which we are receiving is more than what we are spending, we are having a right balance of payment. But then because of the crude oil, it becomes a problem. So all sort of things are happening in this arena, that we are starting with solar energy, we are starting with the different fuel, maybe a sustainable fuel in terms of ethanol, hydrogen, and similar kind of hydrogen cells. So all these are important, and that economy is growing. For example, I was in Praj lastly, and Praj is into manufacturing of in the process and manufacturing of ethanol. So ethanol, today we are mixing only 20% ethanol in a petrol, and that's why we are saving 20% of the petrol from the import, and more importantly, the waste from farms, the agriculture waste is getting converted into a fuel. So farmers are going to get a money for their agriculture waste, and then we are going to reduce the important, and we are going to improve the pollution situation in India. So such kind of things are opportunities are coming, because we think that okay, we would like to have an import substitution in India itself, and that is giving a birth. And I heard that so many plants are coming in India to produce ethanol, not less than 600 plants. So you can imagine the kind of opportunities is getting created, that manufacturing of ethanol is going to. And the similar way that you can, you can think of solar energy. So many people are coming with the solar panel manufacturing, solar technology. All these cities are mandated that you need to have a solar panels on your society. Then only the layouts would be approved. That is saving so much of electricity, which we are currently using by burning a coal, or some other way, which is expensive for us. So that becomes a very important thing for all of us. Then I was talking about the English language speaking skills. Although English is not a global language, not every country is using, but then it's a medium of communication in today's world, because that is used as a global language. And fortunately, we are good in that. But at the same time, now in India, people are fascinated to, or obsessed with, at least I need to have one language, foreign language known. People are experts in French, German, Chinese, uh, then other languages like Italian. So people know that if I'm going to learn new languages, it is going to open the doors for my employment, because then a lot of transcription is a big business now. I know personally few people who are converting German material into English, and English to German. Similarly happens with China. The same thing happens with French, because France is still in a big way in industry, especially in aero industry. So all these opportunities are going to be open if you have a yeah, I will take the queries, because it will spoil the sequence what I'm going to talk about. Don't worry, we have a good time, and I'm going to take all the queries which are in chat box as far as possible. If Dr. Pandey and Ashna will allow me to take. So that is something which is very important, that language is not only English speaking language, then we have an ability to create right opportunities in terms of other languages also. Indian doctors, we are having so many engineering and medical institutes, and we are producing so many doctors and engineers. The otherwise in doctors, people world is knowing, and then we are becoming hospital, or you can say medical tourism spot. If you see this Middle East having maximum kind of patients coming through India for the treatment, and that plays a very good role in our economy, and at the same time our employment scenario. I will request for a minute. I will take a glass of water, and then I'll join a minute. Just give me a minute. I'm getting a pop-ups. I'm back. so many professions which are going in a right direction, and I'm happy that you know what is happening around, and that is something which is going to be, and I'm going to mention about those different happenings also during my discussion. So all this happening, and that is creating a right kind of a environment. As I said, somebody talked about agriculture, somebody talked about construction. So this is something which is required. Whatever what they require, definitely they require engineers. Agriculture is not going to be the same what used to be 20 years back. Today we have a equipment. If earlier, if you remember, and somebody who opened up the agriculture as a thing, there are n number of new developments are happening. The seeds are different. Then the how the farming is done, it's very different, because we were earlier, we were having requirement of big tractors. So if you see the tractor, you will see a big tractor only, and it was very impossible for Indian farmer, because our farms are not big. They are spread into different parts, and because of the hereditary allocation, somebody is having 1 acre, somebody is having 1.5 acre, when somebody is having 2 acres. So using tractor in such kind of a small farm was economically not viable, and taking that on the rent was very expensive for any farmer during the plowing season. So now what is happening? People are not available in farms for work. So you need to adopt to a machines. Okay, but then for running machine also you require a person. But nowadays, if you see, the small equipments are in a market. You can see a very small tractor, very small earth mover, and which can be used in Indian farms also. So now today, if you see the Mahindra tractors or Sonalika tractors or any other tractor which is known in market, that has got a very wide range of tractors. They know a very small tractor is required in Indian farms. They manufacture that. They do it a big one also. The earth moving equipment also happening at a very small level, at a big level. So it is giving an opportunity. As I said, any problem is opportunity, uh, because then if you think rightly, problem can be converted into the opportunity. So it's happening. And then on infrastructure, the things are happening at this point of time. You must be hearing a lot that India is creating or targeting at least 38 kilometers. If I'm right on my number, 38 kilometers every day India is planning to build across India. We are slightly behind our target, but then it's very ambitious. And what's happening? One big good highway can connect different cities, makes it's easier for people to move around, send the goods, and especially the big change which you must have seen in last few days or few years, that because the road network has improved a lot, the train network has slightly improved as compared to earlier, not very big in terms of goods carrier, but then people are reaching to different cities with their goods very easily, especially perishable goods which are produced nearby any city. For example, we have in Pune, there are so many villages around, and they manufacture, oh, sorry, not manufacture, they produce agriculture in terms of vegetables, fruits. So all they can come to Pune, and you must have seen very recently Athauda Bazaar, that they come on a particular day and sell their goods directly without having a middleman in between. So that is only possible if they have roads. They can purchase a small vehicle, because earlier the matadors and big trucks, I think, and no farmer used to afford. Now you can take a very small kind of a small vehicle, which is not 1 ton, more than 1 ton, and that is affordable to the farmer also, and they can, yeah, tempo, and then that particular thing you can bring your goods into the city and sell it, so without any middleman. So the network of roads is very important. That is number one. Somebody talked about Samruddhi Mahamarga. Yes, Samruddhi Mahamarga is going to create a huge opportunity for having network in all the cities and towns and villages which are on the way, and it is going to create more business opportunities in the region. And if the distance is manageable, we are okay. On a lighter side, today, even if Bombay Goa or Pune Goa is not a very great road to drive on, but still people go to Goa big time. Imagine if the road is 8 lane and having capacity to reach from Bombay to Goa in lesser hours, maybe in 5 hours or 6 hours, then people will more go often. So that gives the ability to move around. A lot of airports are happening now. Airports getting developed for small aircrafts. So this Udan scheme, which is having small airports. We have airports in every town or city, but then those are not economically viable all the time. So if we have a kind of a small airports, then not only people, but then we can transfer the goods through those ports, and not we are having airports, we have ports, and we have dry ports also. So dry ports are for the goods only. So people send goods to dry ports, and from there either it is flown outside, or those are transported through a faster way of thing. Tourism, less we talk at this point of time, because we are approaching almost 1 hour, and I would like to give at least 20 minutes to 25 minutes to answer the queries what you have. But then I will touch upon the different areas where things you can see, and I need not tell you that what is happening, because if you see, the service industry is booming. The kind of insurance companies you're seeing, or food, or medical related services, pharma services, health services, in terms of lifestyle, luxury, utilities, travel. So all these are related to services which people are having a skill and they can provide. How many people are okay? So there are today somebody said that travel agent's job is going to go, because you don't need you to, if you want to book train, you can go on app and you can do it. If you want to book the hotel, you can go on the site and you can book it. But still there would be some form of travel agent will remain, because you don't have a right understanding of how to travel. So advisors would be there. So people will require a kind of a support in terms of creating awareness how to travel around. But then travel agent as a booking agent, the job is going to go very clearly. But then things are going to be requiring, because you have so many sites and you don't know where to believe or where not to. So somebody is needed to support. Today, we talk about booking various kind of travel arrangements, but at the same time, when we are going out of the country, we have a new business, which is the new services which are coming into the play, that is VFS. All these people, what they do, they just collect the documents and ensure that all the documents are in place. So that I tell you that one, if that, and mark my this particular sentence, that if the economy is growing, opportunities pop up every day, because then somebody gets blocked somewhere, they need a help, the service comes. And I have recently heard about one NGO, and it's very important to say that many such NGOs are happening, that we are going to have in cities basically, because we have people either staying, basically the senior citizens, uh, their children are either outside the city, they are staying outside the city somewhere for the work, or they are away because of the traffic conditions and the spread of the cities, or they are going outside the country, and senior citizens are forced to stay alone. So there are NGOs or there are startups who are providing the service, that they say that okay, we will send a person throughout the day to support you. If you want only for food preparation, we will send it. I have seen that they provide drivers. They send non-drivers. They send somebody who can come with the senior citizens, take their car, go to their bank, support them in banking transaction, and drop them back. I have seen a service, or I've heard about service. I know somebody is doing that. That somebody comes to a senior citizen's house, and the person is having eyesight problem because of the age, but he or she is very fond of reading. So people go and read for 2 hours, only reading, nothing else. So I think fascinating horizon is in front of us. And more importantly, I would say that don't consider don't consider career means job, because career opportunities are not only jobs, but then you have so many opportunities to have career in various areas. So one could be job. Definitely there is a job market which gets popped up, but then there is a huge demand for startups, and that is also career. So if somebody says that Ratan Tata has is a big business, he has made a career in Tata Motors. So not only he made the mark for the company, but for the country. So we need to relate, because all our earlier policies during the British eras were that we are producing people to serve in a jobs. But now the situation is very different. Career means not only job, but other businesses also, the entrepreneurs, so startups. So it gives immense opportunity for all of us to think what you would like to do, how you would like to shape up your career. A, uh, what is your ability, what you can do, then what kind of a knowledge you have acquired uh, in your education. Third, what feel what kind of a passion you have, what you would like to do, so you will enjoy working it for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. And nowadays young generation is going to change at least 2 professions in the career. So you need to see what I'm going to enjoy for next 15 years, 20 years. So it's a combination of your passion, your knowledge, the opportunities around, what you see as your career, and I think that makes the right recipe for your career building. Opportunities are enormous. I think it's impossible for any career counselor to give you the professions available at this point of time, because unless and until we see so points I would like to tell you, that what your education is, what your skills are, what is your interest, what is your passion, ability to move in and around your city or a country, And then finally, what is the future for that particular job or skill or that industry in the country as well as outside the country. And when you're going to take whole thing into the area, and then you deep dive and then decide that I would like to uh, enter into this career, or I would like to continue in this career, or I would like to enter into another career. I'm in a particular career, but I would like to change my career, or career I would like to make it in a very uprising kind of a area. Then you can think of all these things factors, and that's why it's very important that how you see the Indian horizon for next 5 to 6 years. So how the things move in right direction, you need to see, study, and there is no formula. It was very easy earlier that after 10th, what you'd like to do? You'd like to do BCom, BA, science. You after 12th, you go engineering or you go medical. Now the thing is, the world is complex now. It's giving opportunity, but it has become more and more complex. So it becomes very and I'm not touching upon very other careers which traditionally we are not looking as a career. The kind of arts like singing, instrument playing, or entertainment business, or movie acting. So I'm not touching those at all, because that also requires education now in different way. So I think every way of life what we have today, we have to see where the career opportunities are emerging, and based on how I would like to build my career, I think that is the right path we need to walk in our career, and that can make you successful if you make a right choice with the combination which what I talked about, that what you need to see for you. And everything is in your hand. According to me, there is a right environment, there is a right resources available around, a right kind of a time. Only thing is that how you choose your career, your profession, your job, and how sincerely you do that. It's not, career is for not money. I always ask questions during the interview, people, that you'd like to make a career or you'd like to do the job. Job is very different because I do it for livelihood, and career is that I make happiness out of that. Apart from money, money is, you can't ignore that because that is important in today's world. But then, apart from money, you should be able to enjoy what you are doing, and that's how then you will be healthy and successful professional at the end of the day. So that is important, that what career you would like to make. I stop here. It's almost 1 hour 15 minutes. We can take 15 minutes question answer. Maybe Ashna can help me in reading out some important questions, and then we'll discuss around that.
Yeah, sir. Yeah. So I'll just go through the chat and check the questions.
I will ask discuss one question which Ambuj Singh has asked, that what are the reasons for less shares of agriculture sector. I didn't understand the question. Maybe uh, you can talk about that more in chat. I will try to answer that. India is an agriculture state, so we are much more produce coming from agriculture. So I don't see there is a less share in Indian economy for agriculture produce. But modernization is very important in our agriculture, which is taking place now.
So we can
Pooja
take
is,
question. Yeah, so Pooja is also having a question. How do I start my career as a IT recruiter?
yeah, if you have decided that I would like to be IT recruiter, then you need to really study what kind of a IT, because in IT there is a term called technical recruiter, and you need to know what kind of a platforms currently are usable for various things, what kind of a languages IT industry is using, what are the changes happening, what would be the impact of AI, and all this. If you study more closely, then you will be able to really see how you can be more competent IT recruiter would be, because now it is expected that IT recruiter shortlist people to the level that they can select, they can get selected very quickly, because we don't have too much of a turnaround time for that. So recruitment is a art and science. So science you have to study, art you have to practice.
So there is another question from Pawan sir. So the question is how the manufacturing industry will change our Indian economy and GDP growth.
Manufacturing is changing every day, because there is a huge amount of artificial intelligence also it is getting attached to that. Program is very clearly getting attached to that. So once we have such kind of a thing, obviously earlier we were having only a machines which were not having a CNC. Now then the first PLC came, then CNC came. Now these are the completely computerized controlled machines, so you need not interfere into area of manufacturing. It's completely automated, so very less people are required, but then it goes completely with the automation which is involved into manufacturing. And manufacturing, as I said, that it's manufacturing is the base for any economy, because you are creating the goods, and that is something which is required for the economy to evaluate. So you're not creating something which is in air, but you are manufacturing something, and that is also a very clear importance in the economy to grow. So how you manufacture, clearly it gets translated into the economic growth.
So there are lots of questions which are floating on the chat
I
box.
think you can avoid personal questions, that how I start career in business analyst. But then
Yeah.
if there are some broad questions you can
So there
currently.
is one interesting question which is asked by Ambuj sir. So what are the reasons for less shares of agriculture sector?
I think I gave an answer to that.
Okay.
Yeah, what are the opportunities in power sector today? As I am already working in one of the thermal power, Sudeep Saha is asking. Power is going to change the canvas completely, because power sector, what I can see and whatever I learned and what are the little knowledge I have on power sector, uh, today the conventional power generation in terms of coal is used as a base. It is called thermal, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, thermal power plant. And coal is going to be a problem, because then we need to import that. Though interesting to know, India has got a biggest stocks of coal in the world, but either those are under the jungles what we have, so we cannot really take it out from the earth, A, and B, because of the geographical condition, this coal has got a lot of ash into it which pollutes the environment, so we cannot use that much. So coal is not an option. So A, power will come from wind, power will come from solar, power will come from hydro, And the fourth one, which is under experiments, that can we use the waves in sea as one of the power generating units or power generating base, because it continuously creates a wave, and waves can be converted into the wheels, and wheels can produce the power at the end of the day. So that is something which is there, and power requirement is going to go up. India is in deficit of power still, though as a country we are moving very fast, but it's in pockets. So some states are overproducing, and the peak time and low time, the concept, Sudeep. So solar is manufactured during the day and in summer, but as you know, power cannot be saved. So that there should be a technology to store power. If we can store that, this power is going to be, because every unit produced has got a demand, but then timing and storage is an issue. So if that is something which is under a lot of research, and once that happens, things are going to be flourishing in power sector as well. And because it is privatized in India, it is going to grow up only. Today, earlier it was only with the government and the distribution systems and the power leaks we had, but now it is very different. Private sector is going to be monitoring their power supply and their recovery very closely. So I feel that it's very what you can say, sunrise industry at this point of time in India. Automation affect the supply chain logistic in terms of job opportunity. It's not Vishal, it's not only job opportunities in any industry. The job which are monotonous in nature, having transactional value, are going to go off. It is going to take over by automation. So in any industry, it's not only supply chain and logistics. The loaders which are required for so many years or decades or centuries, what we have, loaders are not going to be there for a long time, because we are automating completely. And that is a more efficient way also doing that. I had gone to one company which is into robotics, and their robots are stacking and taking out the goods from the warehouses. So robots are having fed with the information where to store the material and from where it needs to come out. So the instructions are given in a computer that we need this scheduling for next month or every day, and robo at particular time which is scheduled to take out the thing and stack it in a particular pallet, and completely works without any manual intervention. And such robots are getting manufactured in Pune. I'm not talking about outside the even city. So not only in logistics and supply chain industry, it is going to be in every industry where the transactional jobs, manual jobs are going to go. But creating automation, for that, you need experts. Creating those automation machinery like robots, that require people. The skill is required. So any job is going out, it converts into some another profession or another skill. And we need to learn that skill very clearly. When for the first time typewriters were gone and computers were coming, there was a huge resistance from government of typist organization that we are going to lose the job opportunity. But what kind of it's not stopped. The computers, the desktops are gone, laptops are gone, phones are come. Meanwhile, it was iPads or tablets were there. So it is going to evolve. We cannot stop that. So we had to continuously on our toes to ensure that we are upskilling our profession, and we are able to take out the right meaning for us and take it forward.
So Praful sir is asking one question. I think how AI will affect the IT sector in future. How we have to update in the IT sector.
It's too early to talk about AI because we are talking about too much of a chat GPT and related AI related driven things, and really it's too early to comment that how it's going to affect, because a lot of people are talking around AI all the time, and we don't know the future at this point of time, how it is going to shape up with the AI developments. So I think it's very difficult to predict at this point of time. Only thing is that we have to keep watching every day what's happening in IT and AI, and then only we can comment upon that.
So one question is from Parasram Rathod. So the question is, nowadays new technologies are coming like Chat GPT, Recruit GPT, AI, and ML. So will they impact on job opportunities because this kind of technologies are giving the solutions very fast and doing less dependency of human?
I'll give example from my own profession, that is human resources. Recruit GPT or Recruit AI related means recruitment. It can go through the CV, okay, for recruitment, but for selecting the person, uh, we need to interview that person. That cannot be taken out. We need to select the person. If somebody is doing a very technical job, he can be assessed on the question and answers, but then it is going to be very difficult for the people who are doing the skill jobs which are non-technical. It's very difficult to do it through AI. Finally, human intervention is required in many of the areas because it works with the experience. Okay, experience is collection of different experiences, uh, emotions, the wisdom we have earned through experience. So that wisdom, unless and until AI produces wisdom also, till that time we require human intervention, and those jobs are not going to go away. So, for example, like I'll tell you, to certain extent, car car maintenance was something which was a manual job. Mechanic used to do that, and we used to always, today also we say that he has gotten troubleshooting skills. That if something happens, that they know what the how the so we have seen the people who are just listening the voice of the machine. They can say, oh, there is a problem with the bearing, there is a problem with XYZ, or ABC. That's a troubleshooting kind of a thing. So that is something which comes from the wisdom. So experience, number of times the person has done, and then finally, yeah. So unless that is something which is replaced completely by AI, that is something becomes difficult. Because still today we are using a computer to assess the machine. So if you see the cars now are computer driven, and you need to connect the computer to machine and then or engine, and then you come to know how if there is any problem with any of the component. But then if it goes to a next level, X level, then troubleshooting is not required in a machine. It can be done through computer. So the job would go, but then repairing of the machine is going to require a person, maybe a person with some machines or tools, but it is required.
Okay, so
Sushant is asking about accounting. See, accounting is a transactional job now because you have your so many apps are available. It started in India at least with what the famous Tally accounting package. Now it's Tally is getting more and more mature, or similar kind of apps are coming. So your skill will not be required because when I was doing my commerce, we used to get the knowledge that okay, this is debit, this is credit, and all. Now you don't need to remember also what is credit and debit, but then app is going to take care of that, or a software is going to take care. But now more than accounting, the financial analysis is going to be very important. That function and that functional skill is going to be very critical for industry. So that is something which is very important. Yes, CS, anything which is transactional will go off, but then something very complex will come, and you need to be ready for complex job skill which is required for the future. You know that testing was one of the big employment in IT industry, testers. And all of a sudden, when the programming started coming into a testing, uh, all the uh, all the companies started taking out people from the testing because that was a low end skill which was required in IT, testers. So testers lost the job because of the apps they got, or programs got developed into testing. So I think we need to be clear that whether I'm in a profession which is a low end or which is high end. So if high end is required, then sales still has got a future. Yes, sales is the oldest profession as we have a manufacturing. So sales is going to be always there. The way would differ. Today, how many people are seeing the AI driven advertisement on your YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter? Because then it's all related to digital marketing. So our uh, flex marketing or roadside advertisements or pamphlets we used to use earlier, that is changing into the digital one. So we are getting influenced on the digital. And if you see that young generation is only purchasing from digital way, they are going on Amazon, they are going on Myntra, they are going on big basket, they are going on all other apps which are available on online. So marketing, sales and marketing is not going to go, but the forms are going to go all the time, undergo a lot of changes, and we need to be ready for those kind of changes. I think it's 1 o'clock, three minutes past 1 o'clock. I leave it to Ashna and Dr. Pandey to decide how much time you have, and we continue this session.
sir, it's almost 1:13 and the questions are still floating in. If you want, we can take one last question and then we can stop, sir.
Yeah, you decide which question.
So we can take Pawan sir's question only, as he has put it in the last. So there are so many questions. Oh my God.
Pawan sir, what's the question? Can you read out, because I'm not able to find out that.
Yes, sir. So he asked, how can we improve our Indian rupee against the US dollar?
Okay. It's a very complex process of getting exchange. it's basically on an economy and how strong economy you have. So US is considered to be a very strong, one of the strong. Now earlier that was the only strong economy, but then and then US dollars are considered as unique unique currency for the world trade. Okay, now the things are changing. Okay, we are now dealing in rupees with Russia. We are dealing in rupees with Iran. We are dealing with in some of the Middle East countries. We are dealing in rupees, and some Southeast Asia countries also we have started rupees. So it's basically uh, between two countries when you exchange what kind of a goods or payments you are doing to each other, that depends on that particular thing. Today the reference point is US dollar. That's why we see that $1 is equal to 80 rupees. Okay, because of the economy strength. Okay, but then as we are growing in our goods, in our dependence, sorry, independence, the strong market for our goods, our services, our demand, as it goes up, obviously it is going to strengthen our economy. And rupees versus US is dependent on what kind of a foreign reserves we have. Okay, so how much foreign reserve we have, and that makes us better in the pricing. So this is something which is how to fix the market. Sensex is the kind of a question. It has got huge number of parameters which makes rupees stronger, and in coming days you will see slowly the kind of a parameter what we have for US dollar is going to undergo a change, and we will be exchanging our rupees against the various countries like ruble or AED or any other currency, and that will take out the inferiority complex what we have, that we are paying one for $1 is 80 rupees. So it is going to equate to certain extent, uh, but yes, it health of the economy is the motamoti, if you can say, is the parameter for strength of rupee. And as economy is going to grow better, we'll have a better exchange rate.
Okay, students, so I think that was the last question we can take because we need to go for our lunch break now. So before proceeding to the vote of thanks, sir, I would request with our student and Bhagyashree ma'am to have a photo with you. So I would request our students to kindly switch on their camera so we can take a good picture with a nice screenshot. So team, please let us know as and when you are ready so that we can have a smile on our faces. I think the team must have taken. Okay, so before proposing the vote of thanks, sir, students, please wait till the end. There are some announcements to be made for the next session. So, sir, it was a privilege to have you on this Spectrum platform, that is the virtual conclave of MIT SD 2023. Thank you so much for taking out your time, that too from such a long distance, that too in the early of the morning with us, and you shared such an example and the insights. Your experience is truly remarkable, so thank you so much for sharing that with us. Also, the discussions and the Q&A which we had at the end with our students was really helpful to us and to all of us. So thank you so much, sir, and we would love to have many more insightful sessions with you in the future. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thanks for the opportunity. It's lovely talking to you all. Always such kind of a discussion. Time is a constraint. but I'm sure that we will have many more opportunities to interact more. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Have a nice evening. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.